This is the Ashraf Garda Show, 8 to 10 a.m. and you're listening to Salaamedia.
All right, slightly later, therefore slightly shorter than normal in terms of our crossing Joburg to KAAPSTAAD. Doesn't mean the news is less. I'm sure the news is a lot more anyway, right? With me, Ghulam Fakir. So he's a co-host on VOC, and for these 5 minutes or so, Salaamedia is on VOC, VOC is on Salaamedia. Something along that line, okay? Ghulam, Salam, how are you?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ashraf, how are you doing?
I'm very good indeed. Yeah. What do you want to pick up today?
Man, I don't know. There's so many things that we can talk about, Ashraf. In fact, I feel like my head is going to explode because obviously we saw that the fire, first of all, is being contained. So that's good news, alhamdulillah. We also saw that there are still many relief organizations that also came forth, coming to assist the people that has been affected by the fires. I know that there were still areas in Veerhoek where there was a little bit of flare-ups over the last 24 hours, but that has been contained. Traffic, obviously, complete mess because of it, but alhamdulillah, at this point in time we are also still trying to understand what happened, and if anything happened at the disciplinary process that took place yesterday with the firefighters, with regards to the city of Cape Town, something that took place 2 years ago. So that is something that we're going to be keeping our eye on for most part of the morning in Cape Town. But Ashraf, I must say, you put me on the spot last night on Facebook, eh? Sorry, I can't hear you, Ashraf.
From my side.
I don't think...
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you were saying I put you on the spot. What did I do?
Yeah, no, like I went onto Facebook because I'm not as active, during the month of Ramadan. Things are just like kind of hectic at the moment. And then last night I went onto Facebook and I'm like, whoa, why am I being tagged in with Ashraf Garda? What is it that he wants from me? And then I saw there's this whole debate going around the dates, and I'm like, oh goodness, I needed to go and do some homework. But in all honesty, I didn't go and do the homework. But surprisingly, I was at a shop yesterday and I actually went through some of the dates there. And of those dates, there were 3 dates that I have tasted, Ashraf, in the past, and obviously in my home. The Mijul, like I spoke about last night, as well as the Ajwa date. The Ajwa, of course, being my preferential, bowl that I'm going to go to. But the one thing that I have, and I must be honest about, Ashraf, is that, sometimes when you go and visit people, they would offer you a date and you really take that date because, of the barakah and so forth that is associated with it. But then I realized, I can't come to the name of it, but I realized it's not a date that I actually like because it does this whole crumb thing in your mouth. It's like it comes up in your mouth. Yeah. So you don't know whether or not the date is now old, if you must say no shukran to the date, or that is actually just the texture of the date, So those are the 3 that I found out so far. However, with that said, I must be very honest with you. I'm not impressed with the prices of these dates because I went into the store and I saw like a little bit of a bowl, that was going for like $400 or something. It's like a 200-gram ajwa date. And the first thing that went through my mind was, my goodness, please tell me if I'm going to eat this date, it's going to send me to Jannah.
Well, I'll tell you what, maybe we need to have this chat about prices as well. I mean, I have to give it an interest here. My wife, part of her own business, they market dates as well. Yeah, so I'm just saying that because others would also do the same thing. So I don't know. Okay, but I mean, some of the dates that we spoke about, the Safawi dates, and then the Mabroom. The other one is called Ajwa. We know we discussed the Ajwa. Then Zamli as well, which I believe is quite. Well, I've tasted very, very sweet. In fact, and the other one's called
sweet. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the dates generally. And again, different ways of looking at that. Somebody may say, we say samosas or samosas. Somebody may say, well, maybe we should have that discussion about that some other time and see who says what. I certainly do. I certainly eat the 3-cornered pie, the samosa, when we break fast or during Bukha iftar time. Absolutely, yeah. Anything else? Anything else you want? You get a sense that Cape Town's like sort of normalized. Anything else you want to pick up on?
I think Cape Town, most of Cape Town has been normalized, especially within the Muslim community at this point in time. We're on the 8th day of the month of Ramadan. We haven't had any reports of in incidents, for example, that was being reported at any massages over the last couple of days. Alhamdulillah, so that's great news. But I think the one thing that also kind of just shook people a little bit more this morning was when we received a report from the Saudi Gazette, saying that South Africa has been placed on this list of 20 countries that won't be able to enter the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for Hajj. So that is the one thing that we're going to be also keeping our eye on this morning. I know a lot of people, obviously from last year, Ashraf, you remember, all of those people are moving back into the quota system, and whether or not they are going to perform Hajj this year is clearly at this point in time a no-go, because the flights have still been barred. But we need to sort of open up the discussion with the South African Hajj and Umrah Council. We need to get in touch with the operators, and we need to get in touch with that potential Hajj as well, and piece that puzzle together and understand what's happening, because I know that is the one part of the news this morning that kind of shook the Muslim community in Cape Town.
Well, I think both ways. I think Sahuk governs Hajj but not the Umrah, but either way, and I understand that from a Hajj point, besides the flights part, you can only go for the Hajj if you're actually vaccinated, which South Africa is well behind on that list there. Okay, let's leave it at that, because that is an important discussion that we need to talk about. Ghulam Fakir, as always, thanks for your time. We'll catch up tomorrow with dates or without dates. Either way.
With or without dates, we'll make a date, inshallah. Keep well, Ashraf. Assalamu alaikum.
There we are. Yeah, important issue, by the way. So so I need to get that clarity in terms of what's happened with the flights, and I'll get an update on that in a moment. But there's also an important development taking place in Pakistan, as linking Pakistan and France, and that comes up next.
A man of charm.